All right, I'm Jake. I'm here with my friend John. We're here at beautiful Stafford Lake Park, and we're going to be playing a round of disc golf.
Yeah, going to go out and throw some shots and let you guys know what it's like to play around out at Stafford Lake. Man, this is exciting. It's not even going to hit the 80s, which is perfect.
So how long has Stafford Lake Disc Golf course been here?
20 years. I'm not sure the exact month when it went in or when it was first designed, but I first played it in 1997.
Shooting some warm-up throws into the tree. Wow, this is going to be a good video. How many times do you think you've played this course?
I would say at least 1,000 times. Hey guys, all right, I'm on hole 1 here at Stafford Lake. I don't know if there's any other course where you start off on potentially a 500-foot hole that's uphill playing par 4, but here we are. This is what we have. Right now it's actually in a shorter position. It's shortest position, but it's still pretty hard to reach unless you got a big arm. And sometimes I can just barely get to it, but most of the time I end up playing it up this hill. I play it tight up to the right just to try and get to a flatter area. If you throw this shot out to the left, you kind of have more awkward stance because of the shape of the hill over there. I'm a lefty. Righties typically play a shot that goes anhyzer, flattens out, and lands flat right on the hill over there. You can't see it, but there's a small hill right here. If you get over that, you're looking good and you have a run at the basket. All right, so it just got over the hill and that was right on line with the basket. I will have a long shot from there, probably about 60 feet, but we'll go take a look and see how it is. So if you know that you cannot get over this hill on the tee shot, pretty much want to throw straight off and land somewhere around here. That is like a beginner distance right here. You're only talking about 200 feet, but since it's uphill, you're going to lose a lot of distance. A lot of people tend to be up around here. Your stance is going to be really awkward, so you're just looking to get up on your second shot to a flat area. Now this is the shortest position on this hole, and it's still not very easy. So I threw my shot. It wasn't too bad. This time of the year, the nice thing about this time of the year, it's really dry. I'm gonna get skips. So I'm gonna be throwing farther this time of the year. Okay, so as you can see, this isn't too bad where I landed. It's not super slanted like it is over there, plus I'm about 40 feet out. So I get to make a run at it. It's not typically a distance I make, but I can make a good run at it, I think. Whoop, went for it. All right, and that was kind of a stiff, steady headwind right there, so I don't usually like to do that. Okay, here we are, hole 2 at Stafford Lake. This is a tough righty hole. If you are a beginner and you struggle with a right-handed turnover shot, you might want to throw something like a thumber just to get it out in the middle of the fairway. The fairway plays straight ahead, and then in the position it's in right now, which most of the positions go to the right. And there's a lot of tree on the right side. If you land short, a good size oak tree out there, and there's the possibility of getting stuck up in it. But for me, I'm a lefty, so what I'm gonna do is try and throw a shot as straight as I can for as long as I can, and then have it just finish off to the right and hopefully not roll down the hill, because this fairway is shaped like this. You could probably drop 100 feet in elevation if you roll down, or if your anhyzer doesn't flip over. If it just hyzers off, it's pretty brutal. I'm gonna throw like I did on hole 1. This is like my straight long range driver. So this is a G-Star Boss, and this one happens to fly really straight. So I'm gonna go with this guy.
It's looking pretty good.
All right, hopefully it stayed. If it sat right there, I'm hoping to be within 100 feet of the basket. Here's the short tee on two that nobody uses, but if you don't want to lose a disc, if you want to see where it goes, you can throw from here. Looks like the dial was off and it's actually in the short position. It's a good thing I can't throw very far right now. Birdie. Woohoo! I didn't mention this, but righties, if you got enough power, throw a mid-range. They turn more slowly, like a rock or something like that. Great for the shape of this hole. That one's not marked up there, but I heard this guy named Brad Armstrong aced it. Brad, where are you? I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have really nice giant tee pads out here. Hole 3, you have the hill sloping down to the left. If you're a righty, what we're doing is we're gonna probably take this shot. If you can't throw over the trees, which not that many people can, is you're gonna play it to this gap to the right side. And if you throw it straight as long as you can, and you're just able to get past the trees, you're out in this open spot and you can pitch up to the basket, which is tucked in the back. And you can make a run at it that way because it's kind of safe. You're throwing up the hill. As a lefty, it's not gonna be that much different. I'm gonna play it straight, try to play it safe, hopefully miss some of these trees and get out down below the basket and just pitch it right up there. But we'll see what happens.
Ready.
All right.
You get through?
Yeah, I should have a look to be able to just pitch it up easily to the basket. Oh, also, this is actually the short tee for 3. The long tee is all the way back there, but it isn't used that often. If you do want to throw it, I'd recommend playing with a group so somebody can spot. This hole has been birdied, but at least this position, but it's not common. Got our oak trees, bay trees, a little buckeye. This part of this tree fell over years ago, and there's a basket position somewhere around here, right here. And there was a basket right here, and it fell right on the basket and bent it. All right, here's my shot. Little tricky. I'm gonna mark my lie because there's a stick over here that might stab me. And thinking sidearm. Slide. Yeah, that's the nice thing about this time of the year is you get some slides. Look how short this basket is. Let's play this course like everything's par 3. Yeah, pro par, man, pro par. Here we are, hole 4. Hole 4's basket is in a right position, and this is great for a righty because this is just a straight up right-handed hyzer shot. The hole plays probably about 275 feet, and you got to watch out for the rollers. So even if you're a right-hander, if you land it on some spot that's really dry, it can just cut back and roll all the way down this hill. For me, I'm going to throw a turnover shot. We'll see how that goes. I also got to test out this wind. That's going to make it a little bit tougher. It's kind of swirly up here. It's a headwind. That's kind of nice for a turnover shot. I don't think I got enough distance on that, but I didn't overturn it, so it's not going to cut roll. I think I might have a putt though. This is a tough hole for me because the wind varies so much, and when you're throwing an anhyzer like that, whew. Oh, I got a putt. I picked a shady spot. Slight left to right headwind. Well, the headwind isn't slight, but the left to right is. Spit out. Not really. A little left. All right. Easy 3. That is a hole you want to birdie. If you're coming out here for the first time, you got a couple of options after you finish hole 4. There are 5 letter holes, A, B, C, D, E, that are after hole 4. And when you finish those up, then you just go straight to hole 5, and it just links together like that. This part of the course tends to have a little bit more poison oak. So if you really want to avoid it, you might want to just avoid these 5 holes. And right behind me, after hole 4, you just walk straight up the hill, and that'll bring you to the letter holes. So we can check them out.
Never actually been out here.
This tree fell.
This big guy?
Since maybe it fell during the storms last year. These are the letter holes. So this is hole A. You won't see too much for markings other than a dirt tee pad like this for hole A. There's a little brick that's just white, doesn't even say a letter on it. But yeah, these holes out here are the wooded holes. So more techie, but shorter, typically for these 5 holes. So it mixes it up a little bit more. Stafford's known for long shots, more wide open. You're playing with the wind. And these holes added a little bit something different for the course. So it's kind of nice. I'm gonna pray and throw a straight rock shot straight down the middle. And hopefully it doesn't hit anything. And I want to hopefully have a birdie look at it. So let's see what happens. Well, it went straight, about 30, 35 short, but I got to look at it.
Nice.
Get a little shade, nice cool breeze. It might be something that Jackson hits a lot, so that's my guess. Here's the short pin. Can I make the comebacker? I don't think I should think that way though. Ah, the dreaded yellow band. I think I need to start practicing my putting more. All right, I'll take a 3. Should have thrown that a little bit further and given myself an easier putt, but no bogeys yet. We're gonna walk down here to the hole B. This hole has some really tough positions, but it's actually in one of the easier ones, and you can see it right off the tee pad. Okay, hole B. Just like hole A, we have dirt tee pads over here. So a little bit more rustic, but they're nice and flat, pretty good condition. I got some good shoes on, so I'm not gonna be worrying about some slippage or anything. This hole plays straight, but you kind of want that slight left finish if you're a right-hander, but for the most part, it's straight. Lefty, tough lefty hole. I haven't been using my sidearm a lot lately, so I don't really trust it. So I'm gonna throw a straight lefty backhand shot. And the most important thing to do, hopefully I don't do it, you wanna make sure you get out into the sun over there, because if you land short of that, or if you tag a tree and kick that way, you might wanna just rethrow from the tee pad. So no pressure. little long, but I made it through the gap.
Nice.
Keep an eye out for poison oak all along this trail. Just don't touch anything except for grass. For me, sunblock on any exposed areas tends to help with preventing the poison oak oils from getting into your pores. And there's even products that are a sunblock that say that they do protect against getting poison oak, but I just use regular sunblock. If your disc lands in a bunch of poison oak, use some alcohol wipes to clean it off. That'll do a pretty good job. I'm hoping it doesn't turn it into like a video of how many putts John can miss in a round. Next video.
Not enough material.
Hole C. A short hole, plays about maybe 250, but you have, this is like a lefty hole. So I'm gonna be playing a hyzer. I'm gonna throw a mid-range, I'm gonna throw a rock straight and just have it finish off softly to the right. I have to be careful because it's easy to get backspin on that hillside and for it to just roll back down the hill. So I'm trying to land it as flat as possible, which is pretty difficult. If you're right-handed, sidearm is pretty safe to go with, or maybe a putter turnover shot. Turnover shots are kind of nice for a hole like this because if you do land it right, it's just gonna slide and not roll away unless you really flip it over and get a cut roll, but it's not usually gonna happen that way. The safest route to go if you're a righty and you can't quite reach it, just throw it straight, 125 feet. And then you can just toss it over to the basket and get an easy par. Go right. Nice in the shade. All right, so this is kind of like the halfway point, and you can see a little bit of the basket right there. Now, I might have gone too far. It's upside down, so it looks like it may have rolled. Yeah, it's a touchy hole. You go too far, you don't have much left for putting, but I might be able to get something going. Okay, I do have a shot over the top, so let's see what happens.
I think your foot was in front of the disc.
Foot fault, that was a foot fault. Hole D. It's a pretty short hole. Plays around this corner. For the most part, it's straight. Little lefty advantage with a hyzer. I'm gonna try a putter. I usually throw a rock, but a lot of people throw thumbers, right-handed thumbers, sidearm. If you don't have a big sidearm, you should probably still be able to reach it. Almost went in.
Oh, really?
Ah, it was short. For the most part, the way it's laid out right now, these are all birdie holes, so everybody wants to get a birdie. All right. All right. It's always good to birdie the lefty holes. I heard all the holes out here are lefty holes.
Can go from very wide to very zoomed. 42 megapixels.
Check out this mini tee pad. But it's about all you need for a 200-foot hole with a wall of trees. It looks like this tree, well, since the last time I played, that wasn't fallen, so this is new for me. But my route for a lefty is just kind of go a little left to right. Maybe a thumber for somebody that just doesn't want to go for that stuff, but you're gonna end up crashing trees and just plopping down. There's a little bit of a tiny righty hyzer skip route on this side. I'm kind of in between as to whether I want to use a really fast, super overstable, flat monster or just a newer KC Rock. The monster I'm just going to throw hard, and there's a backstop behind this hole, so you can really just chuck it as hard as you want. It's not going to go too far past unless something crazy happens. What do you think, Jake? Do you think I should throw a mid-range or my my monster, my fast disc?
I'm curious to see the monster.
You really? Okay, all right, let's try this out. It's going to move real quick left to right.
Oh no!
Kind of went through. I yanked it left. What do you think, Jake? The Rock? I didn't just throw a monster and yank it left. This is my real shot. And that was right over the top of the basket. 2 alternate endings. Wait, what did he actually do? But, you know, that first shot wasn't too bad because I have maybe a 35 footer with some stuff in the way. It's kind of blind. I got to like pop it up high and drop it down, or an Anheuser putt, which I love to do Anheuser putts. Let's see how that goes. And I hit the basket. The rock went all the way back here. I'm not gonna putt this one. 2 birdies and 3 pars on the letter holes, which isn't too bad. I mean, I didn't have any big mistakes, and you know, if you get a bogey on any of those holes, it's pretty disappointing. That's where a lot of the birdies are. All of those holes are birdieable. This hole is so grown in. Okay, back to the normal holes. Hole 5. It's an interesting hole. There are a lot of different positions on it, from lefty hyzer shots to the one that it's in now, which is a shorter, and it goes to the left with the hill sloping down to the left. So if you're a right-handed player, you can see this small gap. You really want to just punch it straight, and then as it dies, it should just go left on its own. Don't try to make it too complicated. Definitely don't want to go right. It makes it a really difficult upshot to the basket because the basket is around just past a large oak tree, and that is going to be in your way if you end up short right. Lot of coyote bush. It's really tough if you land into that stuff, so try to keep it in the fairway. If you got a thumber, easy way to get out there in the open, but it's still, if you're above the basket, it takes a good shot to land it perfectly because the grass this time of the year is really fast. Okay, so as a lefty, I don't have a good shot for this hole. For the most part, I'm going to play a flexor S shot with an old T-bird. It's kind of more beat in because there's a little bit of a tailwind, so I know it's going to come back a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Not bad. It was towards the basket. So we're 3/4 of the way down this fairway, and you see this bay, but that is something that you're trying to get past. If you're not past that, it makes it for a tough upshot, and the basket's right on the other side, about 45, 50 from the base of this tree. I threw an S shot, or tried to throw one to the left and try and sneak through this little route over here, but I'm not sure where it went. Maybe I missed everything. Good hole to have a spotter on. All right, so I went past the basket on that route that I took. That is not common with that route. Usually I always hit something short of the basket, sometimes squeak through a little bit, but apparently I missed everything. And now I have a tree in between me and the basket, so This is kind of a treacherous position. I don't see myself going for it, so I'm just gonna lay it up. All right, nice and safe. To hole 6. So there are 2 tee pads for this hole. One is a big hike up this hill. Okay, on the tee of 6. This hole, hole 6, has a bunch of different pin placements, but right here, right now, it's on the left original pin placement. I think this might be about 450 feet, but it's easy to reach because it's so far downhill. And if you let one out and it catches some air, you can accidentally go 800 feet. Usually the wind is going left to right here, so you want to play accordingly. A lot of right-handed players, they'll play a pretty overstable disc, maybe even a Firebird, or if you don't quite have the distance for that, a nice overstable Destroyer. But watch out. You really want it to hit the ground over here. If it's not overstable enough, if it skips, it'll just catch air again and just take off again. So it's pretty fun to watch that happen for everybody else that didn't throw that shot. I have this bottom stamp Boss that's my most overstable Boss. It's actually more overstable than my Destroyers. I don't know if they're usually like that, but it's pretty neat. Sometimes I play it low. If there's not a lot of wind, I'll play it low with an overstable rock and skip it up. But as it gets to be more windy, I don't know why, but I tend to play it high over these oak trees to the left and have it come in. I can't quite reach it with a Firebird or a really overstable Monster, so I'm going with this. We'll try it out. Caught the wind, and hopefully it drops. Woo-hoo. All right, so that wasn't too bad. In between that is a poison oak tree that you don't want to go into, but if you go straight back right down the middle, that is a tree. That is poison oak. But we have another tee pad that we're going to hike up to, which has an even better view. It's really, really tough. So let's go check it out.
One from here?
I'm saying it's the oldest poison oak tree ever in the world. So if you step over here, you can see the basket right straight down there. All right, we made it. Unlike hole 27 at De La Viega, which is top of the world over there, you gradually make your way up to that. Here we had to hike straight up. And this is hole 6, moist tee. Don't ask me.
Because you're moist by the time you get up here?
I'm not the one that named it, but this is the moist tee. Yeah, we got a lot of space. We got like a 15-foot wide tee pad. This oak tree grew up, so that's a little bit in the way, but we're lucky because the basket's in the left position so we can see it. And it feels like the wind went away, so I'm going to throw it. Chuck out. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use my bottom stamp Destroyer and see what happens. All right, so the path is going to be out to the left over here, and it should come back in. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's not left enough. And that went straight behind the poison oak tree. All right, I'm going to try this overstable Monster and see what happens. Oh, not as bad.
Did it come back?
Yeah, it's on line with the basket.
Nice.
All right, now we get to hike down. So this is the Monster shot. About 60 short. first one should be right here on the edge of the fairway, and then that the first one from the moist tee went behind this poison oak tree. Maybe you can get some good footage of that poison oak tree. Here it is. I didn't quite make it. Poison oak tree. It's awesome. So this is my drive off the regular tee, the original tee. But I gotta really watch out because the wind's coming like this at me, and my lefty putt can lift off easily and go like this. So I have to be really careful. Maybe put a little bit of anhyzer on the putt. You see how that wind takes it and it brings it over? You got to be really careful. So that wasn't a bad run. All right, got my par. Okay, we're gonna walk across here to 7's tee. Okay, it's in its original position. So this is the original hole. It's pretty opened up. It looks like around the basket itself, it's been trimmed up, where it used to be the bay leaves, the branches were hanging down and you couldn't even see where the basket was at. It's tough just going down the middle. Most people will prefer to go around, but if they're scared to go around, they'll gamble it. If you kick to the right, it's really tough to get back to the basket. I kind of want to go down the middle. All right, we're at hole 7. This is the right tee pad. The basket is just past this wall of bay trees, but it's kind of tucked in. So what you can do is, if you're a right-hander, you can throw a hyzer around, and if you throw it just right, you'll get to the basket. But typically you want to throw it a little bit past so you can putt back at it. There's always the option of going down the middle. It's a little tricky, but if you pure it, you could be parked. But if you don't, you're gonna kick and you could get in some tough spots. As a lefty, down the middle is quite a bit tougher. Just the way that the angle is, the way that it's shaped down there is a little bit harder. Maybe a sidearm would be better. But what I'm gonna try to do for my shot is go lefty over the top and try to just get it out there so I can putt back at it. Hopefully that's the safe shot for me. But I'll also throw another shot down the middle just so you can see what it looks like. And remember, we got the wind going left to right. So you want to have a very overstable disc for this. So that's way out there in the open, but I'll be able to see the basket coming back. But that's not really a look for a birdie. Yeah. We will see. Definitely not the shot I throw. I mean, for me, if I'm trying to play it safe, I just try to throw it as far out there as I can and then come back at the basket. You know, if I want to go for it, I can cut it tighter and hit the trees and trickle down. In tournament play, I don't usually try to go for that because you can sometimes get unlucky and stick up in the tree. But yeah, you can crash it and cut it tighter. If you hit the tops of these trees right here and you trickle down, you could just roll to the basket potentially. So that can happen. So my safe shot was definitely a safe shot. I'm all the way out here. Either the basket won't go all the way in or the sleeve is messed up. But just makes for a more difficult shot because the basket's, 6 inches, at least 6 inches too high. Maybe more. And it makes a difference for a short person like me. All right, another par. It's all right, we haven't played hole 9 yet.
What you're playing is a 3.
Where are we at, hole 8? Hole 8, Stafford Lake, slightly uphill hole. Right now it plays about 330 feet or so, but it plays a little bit longer than that since it's slightly uphill. It's nice for us though because we got a little bit of a tailwind. and it's right to left. So for me as a lefty, it's kind of nice. It won't let my disc flip over as easily, so I can really put a lot on it. And for a righty, you got to really watch out with that right to left tailwind, because they can skip a lot longer to the left, and you don't want to go left. Keep it to the right, keep it at the basket, just park it if you can. But if you don't have the power, just go straight down the middle. So I didn't put enough on it, but I might have a putt at it. Well, I didn't want to throw my boss. I was afraid of that staying left too much. And if I hit left, where like there's an owl nest up there, if I hit that tree, then it's probably going to kick to the left, and it makes it kind of tough. Left that a little short. I think what I'm going to try and do is putt a little right to left shot and see how that goes, but we'll see. It's sat. All right, taking another par, hopefully. Over here to the left side of the fairway is pretty steep, and there's a lot of tree in the way. Not a place to go, and if you go any more left than that, it's really, really tough to get back up to the basket. Sometimes you even have to pitch it out into the fairway again to come back in. So try to avoid that area. All right, parring away. Okay, hole 9. I'm not quite sure what I want to do here. The wind's kind of swirly, so once I get up to the tee pad, I'm going to probably carry a couple of discs with me. At Stafford Lake, sometimes all of a sudden the wind will just stop, and then you might try to do a different shot on this hole. This is the longest hole on the course. It's in its shortest position, and I think that plays around just under 1,000 feet. Really plays like a nice par 4, long par 4 or a short par 5. We got this huge madrone over here on the left side of the tee pad. Got a nice big tee pad for people to be able to rip their longest drives. The hole is slightly downhill, so you can really lay one out, but be careful. You don't want to go right. This hole runs along a golf course, ball golf course for disc golfer. There's a tree line there, and if you end up on that side, you just end up having to just pitch it out. You got plenty of space over to the left. So as a beginner, really focus on staying way out to the left, because it really opens up the hole for you, and it gives you a lot more options on what you would want to do. Okay, so I'm trying to decide whether I want to just throw a lefty hyzer out there safe, or fight this left to right slight headwind, but it swirls a little bit, so it's a tailwind right now. It's weird. But just force something over and just trust it to stay out to the left. So I think I'm going to go for that, because that's usually what I do. And I turned it too much. So it's going to cut roll and not get much distance. So not the worst spot, because I can really lay one out over there and just go left to the next bay tree. Could have used like 200 more feet. So I should have played a disc that was more overstable, that I could force over and really fight with that wind a little bit more. Okay, I don't think I might have gotten 300 feet off the tee pad, which isn't very far at all for this hole. I could possibly reach that stuff on the left side, that whatever it is, all that bay forest, but I'm pretty much going to aim for that, and hopefully if I come up short of it, it'll really open it up to throw my third shot and try and get my par. So that went to the left and hyzer the whole way, but it really opened it up for me. Turned it over too much again. I think I'm trying to rely on an understable disc, and it's not working. I was trying to get a little bit of extra distance, and it ended up me getting less distance because it flipped over too much into the wind. Finally got to the left of the fairway, so since I'm throwing to the right side of the fairway, I have the wind coming more, almost a tailwind right now. So it switched from me being in this headwind, crosswind situation to more manageable tailwind for a long shot. So I'm not gonna throw this one again because it wasn't working for me. And I think I'm gonna try a Champion Boss. This one is a little bit more overstable, and I'm gonna try and pull a little bit of stability out of it, just get a nice S shot. So we'll see how that is. Oh, big skip. Whew. So good distance, but it looks like I have like a 50-foot putt. Trying to save par. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Thank you, number plate. Take my 5. Hopefully. On the longest hole of the course. Okay, Mach 3s. Thank you. Oh. All right, so that is the shortest position. The traditional position, or the original, is right here. All right, hole 10. What to do? There's a lot of options on this hole. It's not very far. We're in the short position right now, and it says it's 242 feet. The long position's 311. So 242 feet. We got a little gap to hit, and I'm a lefty, and I have to get this disc to go left. So if I was really warmed up with my sidearm, I could play a monster and just like force it over and have it come back. I don't feel too comfortable with it right now. I'm probably going to throw just a light turnover rock shot and see what happens with that. Just let it flip on its own, because there is kind of a headwind right now, and that'll help it turn over. The longer position, sometimes I pull out a roller, but that's rare, and it really depends on the wind. Oh, that was some love from a tree branch. Couple of tree branches. Yeah, a little short here. That's not very good for a short hole like this, but I got about a 50-footer, so see what I can do. Take 10.
We finally got a keeper.
Okay, we're on hole 11. Pretty short hole. It's in a left position, and I'm gonna try and throw my sidearm. There's a tree in the middle of the fairway. You want to just miss that tree to the left side with a right-handed shot, just to trickle right up to the basket. Shouldn't be too tough. Oh my God. Don't hit that tree branch. Oh God. It felt pretty good out of the hand. Got only half the distance to the basket. Okay. All right. So I threw a sidearm with a putter on that one, Kind of because I feel like whenever I throw a backhand on a low ceiling, I tend to pop it up more. So sidearm coming from a lower angle just seemed to feel more comfortable for me. All right. That was 11. Hole 12. A little technical. A lot of different positions on this hole, but they all tend to be a righty hyzer that finishes to the left, except for one, which is like a lefty hyzer, but that's the only one, and it's never there because they don't like left. I don't even know where this one's at, but for me, it's the same shot. I'm just gonna punch it out straight down the middle, and then I'm gonna look for the basket. Okay, I'm gonna try a sidearm. It's out there safe. Hopefully it's towards where I was supposed to go. You're like, oh, you put the video up and it like didn't say anything about lefties, and you're like, I didn't get enough clicks on this. Oh, it is in the long, one of the longs. Okay, so we're like 2/3 of the way down the fairway. We've got a position that's off to the left over here. There's one behind this little bay tree off to the right. That's called bunny ears, so there's one behind that. There's a PVC pipe down there for another position. And then straight ahead in one of the longer positions, is actually not the longest, but the longest position's only played in tournaments occasionally. But this is the D position. This is where it's at now, and it's super tough. Don't go into the bushes to the left. You're probably better off bailing out to the right. That wasn't a bad shot. Okay, well, I took that lefty sidearm and actually got enough distance to give me a look at the basket, which is nice. Try and make a little run at it. Little right to left wind. And it's safe. I will definitely take a 3 on this hole. Okay, and up this way. Plays mostly like a wide open hole depending on what pin placements it is in. And today it's in the left position, which is tucked into these trees right there. The other positions are straight ahead, and they would actually more lead up to the next hole. If you are a righty, play an air hyzer right to left and just a little bit of skip right up to the basket. And if you're a left-hander, you have a couple options. You can throw a sidearm with a long-range driver. You're looking at about 300 feet. And if you can throw a backhand turnover shot, I'm gonna throw one with a mid-range. A little short, might have punched through. That's a tough shot. My turnover shot cut in short, so made it a little bit difficult for me, but if I let it hang out another 50 feet and had it come in, it would have been a great shot. I could go for it, but it's a little dangerous, so I'm gonna try and just lay it up with the sidearm. Walking out towards the main fairway here, and we're gonna walk over across the other way to 14. It's just in front of this big bay tree. It's usually a break area for people. Kind of chill for a little while, have a few benches. Hole 14. You have two main options on this hole. As a right-hander, if you can throw 500 feet, throw over the trees righty hyzer. If you're a beginner, throw it to the left and try and turn it over. The basket, it plays more favorably to the lefty right now, and I'm gonna throw a lefty shot, hyzer, more straight out to the left and just let it come back on its own. Oh, Johnny. Why? Okay, got an awkward lie here. Something that I do every once in a while is I won't really trust my hyzer, and I early release it and it saws off right into this oak tree. Kicked me out, but now I'm in a coyote bush, so I might just throw a thumber out to the basket. Go right. Well, I got a putt. Kind of rushed that a little bit. I didn't want to hang out with the coyote bush for very long. All right, almost got pin high. Okay, nice stiff left to right wind. Just make sure you don't let the wind take the disc and let it fly away. I went back to 1 after the double, and then I got 1 birdie since, so I'm just 2 under. This course can range from like super short, where there's a lot of birdies, to really long, and you're just trying to get close to par, even the best players out there. Hole 15, pretty cool hole. Other than one position, all the basket placements curve around up this hill. So it's a shot that not a lot of people have on other courses. If you're a right-hander, the tee pad lines up really well for a backhand right-handed shot to go up and around out there. Lefty, it's kind of weird because the tee pad goes to the left for some reason, and you're trying to throw this way. So you don't have a lot of room. Sometimes I tee off on here to get that going. Sometimes I throw a 360. I don't want to hurt myself right now though, so I'm going to throw a regular left-handed backhand around these trees. All right, I missed the trees, so I'm going to have a putt. It's not parked though. To hug this tree line on the right side, really want to bring it as close as you can to that for most of the positions that are up here. See the basket right there? You can see the PVC pipe for the shorter position. I'm definitely going to mark my lie because I tend to come up short on uphill putts. Maybe I shouldn't have marked my lie.
Throwing from the back of it, right back where it was in the center.
All right, hole 16. One of my favorite holes. I love this oak tree right out front. You got to play your shot either underneath this branch, or you can throw a righty hyzer around the tree right here. Just keep in mind is when you throw a steep shot like that that's coming down, it might be more likely to roll down the hill. Since I'm a lefty, I'm going to play it straight down the middle and try to throw a disc that just goes straight. Usually because I'm going to throw it hard, I'm going to throw a mid-range. Got a right to left wind. Let's see what happens. Ah, Johnny! Uh-oh. Maybe I am getting tired now. Ah. Boo. I hate you, hole. I love you, hole.
Get an incredible approach.
Yeah. Sports Center. I don't think, maybe I got halfway down the fairway. That was pretty bad. So now I have to throw an upshot with the hill sloping down to the right, and probably won't be a sidearm. I think I'm going to throw a backhand with a straight flying putter. So I really don't want it to go right. So something like that. If you can save pars on this course, you won't do too bad. 2 more holes. Okay, I take it back. 16's not my favorite hole. 17 is. All right, this is the most difficult left-handed backhand shot anywhere around that I know of. Right now, it is in a par 4 position that goes around the bend to the left. You see that road right there? It goes around that. So for a lefty or a righty, the best way to go is to get as far as you can, but aim for the road. Get out to the road and then pitch it around to the position. So when we get down there, you'll see. Oh, and there's a headwind. Turn! So I could have cut it a little tighter, but that's not terrible. Yeah, I made it on the road. So let's see if I can see the basket from there. You have to throw it low. That's the hard part on this shot, is that if you throw it straight out and not down, you don't even know where it's gonna go. If you don't throw it hard enough, it's gonna go way left, or it might just roll over to the right. And I lost a lot of distance because that hyzered out too soon because I wanted to play it safe. But the further down that road you go, obviously it's going to make it much easier for an upshot. And since I lost a lot of distance, I have another long anhyzer shot to throw. Ah, Johnny. Too understable. Rough, rough, rough. You get that extra wobble into a headwind, it's gonna be like. Oh, wow. All right, playing it safe. We're on 18, and this is our last hole. It's in a short position, but it's nice because you can see the basket from the tee. But right behind the basket, it drops off. My strategy is hopefully I'm gonna throw it far enough to where I don't have a death putt at it. But if I do, I'm gonna try to lay it up. That's kind of my strategy on this basket. Kind of want to aim more straight at it. It doesn't really work to like play it out really wide anywhere. Just go for it straight with a straight driver. What am I gonna throw? Okay, a rock. I'm not gonna worry too much if I go past it and down, because then I'll still have a chance for a birdie, but it'll be like this. Go! Yeah, we'll see. That's not too bad. And if you go short, I mean, that's a lot of trouble. If you land like right here on the hillside, you throw from here and you still end up 20 feet short, you got a 20-footer and a huge drop-off right behind. Stafford Lake, hole 18, putting, take 1.
Now we know all your score.
I don't want to putt this one. I want to lay it up. Okay, so got a left to right wind.
My camera, bro.
Putting left-handed. I'm gonna put a little bit of anhyzer on this putt. I don't know how much that's gonna help. It'll probably just put it in the cage, or I'm gonna miss completely. Ah! I want to say 3. Went to 1, 2, and then 3. I only had 2 birdies on the back 9, so. And it's not an easy layout right now. Hole 17 in the par 4 layout, even as a par 4, that's a tough hole. Always 9. This wasn't a short layout, so I'm happy with the 3 down. While this is a difficult course, it is a ton of fun to come out, throw frisbees, throw off elevation, the views. I mean, it's an experience. It's not just about disc golf. So you'll just really enjoy it.
All right, hope you do, and we'll see you next time on YouTube. Thanks a lot. Is it what number is it that has the super high?
6.
Moist. All right.
Moisty.
All right, moisty.
Moist tea. It really is called the moist tea.
The moist tea. All right.
Yes. I don't know if that seems appropriate for you, but
works for me.
All right.